Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. Now this week I wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to go on live, see who we might be able to reach out to, see who might be out there, who might want to hear a little bit more about me, about Superman, about the Superman homepage, and maybe would like to tune in to some of the things we do there. We also do Radio KAL at the end of each month, the last Wednesday of every month, and that one will be coming up next, actually this Wednesday. Today, later on, or if it's not on, it might be out there now at Superman homepage. You can see the radio show there. Well, you won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to listen to it. Steve and I did do a live camera broadcast on You Now when we were recording, so we recorded a little bit of that. You could see a little bit of how that works and what we do behind the scenes. You can hear the rest of the show and the show in full with sound effects and other things that Steve adds after we talk about all our topics. So a little thing I wanted to talk about is a few months ago I went to Niagara Falls. It was back in March. It was very chilly, and you would hope that it would be warm, but it was cold, and we went up there, and of course in Superman lore and in the history of Superman, and at a time when superheroes were smiley and happy and a little bit cheesy, and didn't matter what was going on in the movie, it didn't matter if cities were getting destroyed, if Zod and crew came from another planet to kill everyone, Superman always had a wink and a smile and a wave, and always seemed to be ready to be laughing and happy any minute, even though people were dying. So back at that simple time in the 70s, there was a little Donner film called Superman 2, and Niagara Falls played a big role in Superman 2. It was the place where Lois Lane figured out her lifelong suspicion that Clark Kent was, in fact, Superman. She goes to a railing, dives over the side and almost drowns, rolls into the shore there where Clark's still acting all stupid. Oh, Lois, what are you doing? And proves to her that he is not Superman, but then later on decides to fall into a fire because he feels guilty for lying to her, and then she finds out that, of course, he is Superman, which she knew anyway. But something else that happens at Niagara Falls a little bit earlier in the film, while Lois sends Clark off to get some orange juice, freshly squeezed, I know, he heads to the hot dog stand to do so, and a little boy, whom Clark earlier had saved, crawls over the railing and is playing with the railing back and forth, and he falls over into the falls. And if it wasn't for Clark Kent at the orange juice stand seeing this happen, and then wading through the crowd to get behind the orange juice stand, change into Superman, and then fly down and save him before he fell the 100 feet or so into the falls, the boy would be dead. And then, of course, we bring him up. The mother slaps him around, tells him that how dare he embarrass her, and twice in two Donner movies that are about Superman and happiness and fun and positivity, in Superman the movie and in Superman 2. Two of the biggest things they like to show us is child abuse, both physical and emotional. The one girl gets slapped for telling lies in the first movie, and she wasn't lying, and this boy gets slapped around for falling off of a waterfall. Now, granted, if I was his mother, I'd be annoyed too, because I was so inattentive to my own child that I was paying attention to whatever else was going on and allowed him to go crawling over the side and go falling into the falls. So, what I wanted to tell you was that I thought it was odd that there was no place where this could have actually happened when I was at the falls myself. I not only asked park rangers, but I also looked around for these spots, and there was no concourse where there was a spot that a boy could crawl over the fence, hang there, and then fall with the falls behind him and all around him, and then fall before Superman could get to him. There was no place where Lois could walk down this long winding path and an upside down turned boat was there where then she could throw herself over the falls and see if Clark would turn into Superman to save her. There were no spots like this. There were spots where you could crawl over the fence and fall to your death, but it was either on the rocky shore below, or it was on top of a building, or it was into a bowl of water that then went into the falls. There was a spot up by the concourse where it was all flat water, but it was all rushing toward the falls. And if the boy would have crawled over there, which was possible, he would have just fallen into the water about 10 feet below. He wouldn't have been hurt, but then he would have been rolling toward the falls, and Superman would have just scooped him up out of the water and picked him up. It wouldn't have been as dramatic. So in movies, especially movies about flying men and women who can't see past the glasses to tell that they're a superhero, they sometimes take little corners and cut them off and say, this could have happened, even though we know it couldn't. And as a Superman homepage reporter, opinionator, sometimes writer, I probably should have filmed while I was there and shown you myself this, but now you'll just have to take my word for it. And thankfully, there's no punishment for not doing the right thing for the Superman homepage. So there aren't any, hey, who are you? Hey, you can't do this. Get out of here. Hey, what are you doing? Let me go. Hey, ding, 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 ding.
No, don't do it. No.